So the Texas REIAs provides resources to real estate investors. What kind of resources? Market updates. We're about to do a market update. Oh yeah, and if you guys are in the back and you want to come forward, thank you, that's very smart. We have some seats up front. You're welcome to come and enjoy them. We do market updates. We do all kinds of training. We have 257 vendors. We have 1,000 private money lenders and more. So what I want to do right now is a pretty quick market update. So I want to show you what's going on in the market here in Texas. So this is what we call the Texas Roundup. This little infographic shows you what's going on in the Texas market. So a few data points. The average price house in Texas is $427,000, and that is up 3% year over year from 1 year ago today. The median price house in Texas is $340,000, and that's up 1% from 1 year ago today. But if you want one number that really tells you what's going on, the number you should always look at is this one right here, months of inventory. What is months of inventory? It's kind of the barometer of health of the market. What is months of inventory? The way this is calculated is as follows. If you took all the houses for sale on the MLS and you stopped adding any more houses, so we're not going to add any more, we're going to just take the houses that are for sale and we're going to keep selling them until they're gone, until the shelves are empty. How long would what we have available, the available inventory for sale, how long before we're out? How long before the last house gets sold? And the answer is 4.8 months, which is also, by the way, the average amount of time to sell one house. Some are more, some are less. That's why they call it average. So we have 4.8 months of inventory in the market right now. Now, let me put that in perspective for you. They say if there's less than 6 months of inventory, you're in a seller's market. If there's more than 6 months of inventory, you're in a buyer's market. If there's right around 6 months of inventory, you're in a neutral market. So what kind of a market are we in right now? We're in a seller's market. And we have been in a seller's market for the last several years. We never got to the buyer's market, even though people thought we were going to get to the buyer's market. And there's a reason for that, and I'll explain the reason. Now, a year ago, we had 3.6 months of inventory, which I would call a hot seller's market. Now we're in a lukewarm seller's market, but we're still in a seller's market. What's the history? 2021, prices went up 18% in 1 year. 2022, prices went up 10%, 10.7% in another year. In 2023, the market's flat. In 2024, the market was flat until the end of the year, it came up a little bit. Why did it come up a little bit? What happened at the end of 2024? Interest rates came down a little bit. Now, let's talk about interest rates. Real estate doesn't care about interest rates. Real estate cares about two things, supply and demand. Now, when interest rates go up, what happens to home prices? Do they go up or they go down? What do you think? Down? Kinda. For sure, when interest rates go up, homes are less affordable. And when they're less affordable, fewer people can afford them, less demand. And when you have less demand, that pushes prices down. But something else happens at the same time, and you have to factor both the supply and the demand into the equation. Normally, 2/3 of houses that are for sale are resale, and 1/3 are new construction. Currently, it's inverted. How come people aren't selling their houses? Because they got the 3% mortgage and they don't want to give it up. So people should be selling their houses, but they're not. And because all of that inventory is held off the market, yeah, there's less demand, but there's also less supply. And when you have less demand and less supply, what happens to prices? Flatten out. Right? If you only had less demand and more supply, then prices go down. Right? More demand and less supply, prices go up, but they go down, prices flatten out. So they canceled each other out, and that's why we haven't had a correction. Now, another big thing that's going on in Texas, and this is huge, Last year, California lost 500,000 people. Last year, Texas gained 500,000 people. Where do you think they went? Pretty obvious. Yeah, Dallas, yeah, really. And then there's another 11 million people we don't know where they went, but there are a bunch of them here too. And they all need a place to live. And it's either going to be a house or it's going to be an apartment. The apartments are full, the houses are full. In fact, nationally, I don't know if you know this, but we are in the middle of a housing shortage. Who's heard this? We have 6 million fewer houses than we need to house everybody. And when you're in a housing shortage, what does that do to home prices? Up, 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 up. So we have offsets. We have things pushing down, things pushing up. So give you a quick couple of market drivers. The economy, consumer confidence, you know, a little weak, but not bad. Unemployment is solid. Job growth is solid, especially in Texas. Stock market, lately a little rough, but over the last couple of years, good. When people have money in the stock market, they feel like they're making money in the stock market, they're a little more likely to buy real estate. Business growth, good. So the economy doesn't directly affect real estate other than when people feel good about things, they're a little more likely to buy real estate. Affordability, interest rates, they went up. There's something pushing down. Houses became more expensive. House price trajectory is flat. It's not up, not down. So green pushes prices up, red pushes prices down, yellow is sideways. Supply, active listings flat, months of inventory flat. Permits, we got a problem. We're not building enough houses, right? Because we're not building enough houses, right? People keep having babies and moving here. We're not keeping up with the demand. Construction labor growth, we got another big problem. Contractors are dying off. The average contractor is 58 years old, and the number keeps going up, right? There's a shortage of contractors. So I have advice for you. If you have a teenager, don't send them to college. Buy them a hammer. Seriously. I know plumbers right now, some of them are friends of mine, that are pulling down 7 figures. Plumbers are making $1 million a year. College grads are not making $1 million a year. Get your kid a hammer. They make a lot more money. They don't have to have any student debt. They can have all the vacation they want. They don't have to work for some jerk. I went to college. My parents went to college. And now I have a 16-year-old boy, and I got to tell you, I don't care if he goes to college, because I think there's plenty of things he can do to make a lot more money and maybe even have a much better and happier life that don't include college. If he wants to go to college, he can. But yeah, we have a problem. We don't have enough contractors. And then migration is the really big one. Closed sales trajectory flat, pending sales trajectory flat, but migration is the big one. That's the ratio of people moving in versus people moving out. The population in Texas is growing rapidly. More people are moving here than leaving. And when the population grows, they all need a place to live. It's either going to be an apartment or it's going to be a house. And we don't have enough of either one, and we're not building enough to keep up. And until that changes, right, we have demand that's taken off without supply keeping up, and that's pushing prices up. So that's the data. Let's see what your opinion is. No right or wrong, I'm just curious. Who thinks, based on all this data, prices are probably going to go up this year? Who thinks prices are probably going to go up this year? Who thinks prices are probably going to go down this year? Okay, we got some ups and some downs and a bunch of no votes. Okay, I'll give you our forecast. And by the way, all of this comes from Texas A&M School of Real Estate. You know, I'm just reporting it. I don't actually create the data. We've been doing this for years. Our data is always very accurate. It's not that hard to do real estate. The stock market, predicting that's impossible. The economy, really hard. Real estate supply and demand, not that hard. But here's our forecast. If you were looking for a market bottom, that was probably it about 9 months ago. Nothing much happened. Interest rates are probably going to go down a little bit this year. At least that's what most of the experts say. But it's not going to do much. It's going to juice the market just a little bit. So we expect that prices are probably going to be up about 2% this year, and sales volume will probably be up about 2% this year. So not a whole lot. It's a seller's market. It's a weak seller's market, but it's for sure a seller's market. All right, did you all enjoy that? Was that helpful? Yeah, and by the way, you know, when the market's going up, we're going to tell you we forecast it going up. When the market's going down, we're going to tell you it's going down. Because we have strategies to make money in up markets and down markets, and you do need to be a student of the market. So follow the data. We provide market updates every single month. If you follow us online, you'll get the latest data every single month online.